Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. I am Mufli, the leader of Group 1. Let me tell you about si Pahit Lidah, a man whose words could curse anyone. But here's the thing, he never wanted to hurt people. When he was mocked as a child, he felt powerless. So when his words suddenly had power, he used them to protect himself. Was that wrong? Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. But can we blame someone for reacting to pain? Later, he tried to use his gift for good, like stopping thieves, defending the weak. Yet every curse left a scar, even on him. One day, in a moment of anger, but between two kinds of pain.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that story. My name is Tarsi Salsabenefai and I am very happy to be part of this conversation today. And it was really deep and touching. I totally agree with everything you said about Si Pahit Lidah. Actually, that is exactly why this legend is so famous and memorable until now. You mentioned that he was not born evil, right? That he was just hurt and mocked by when he was little. That makes me realize something very important, that people who hurt often end up hurting others too. He had this amazing power, but he used it as a shield because he was tired of being weak and bullied. Is it true what you say? Maybe what he did was wrong, but can we really judge him easily? If we were in his shoes, feeling that pain and anger for so long, would we act differently? I honestly don't think so. And the saddest part, like you say, is when he accidentally hurt the person he loved the most. That moment is so powerful and it teaches us that words are like weapons. Once they are released, we cannot take them back no matter how much we regret it or how good our intention were. The damage is already gone.
Alright, guys, and then who's going to tell a folk tale from their home region? Are you waiting for it?
Hello, my name is Reni Kurniawan. I will tell you about a folk tale from West Java called Sangkuriang, which comes from my father's hometown. Long ago, there lived a beautiful woman named Dayang Sumbi. She had a son named Sangkuriang and a dog named Tumang, who was actually Sangkuriang's father that had been cursed. One day, Dayang Sumbi asked Sangkuriang to hunt in the forest with Tumang. Because they did not get any prey, Sangkuriang became angry and killed Tumang, then brought his heart home for his mother to cook. When Dayang Sumbi found out the truth, she became very angry and hit Sangkuriang on the head. After that, Sangkuriang left home. Years later, Sangkuriang returned and meets Dayang Sumbi again.
Hi, I am Kamaria, and from this story I can learn the importance of control emotional. Be honest and think before acting because impulsive decision they led to great rage. This story also emphasizes the moral norms and boundaries must respect in life, and the immunity needs to be used responsibly. Until now, these values are still very relevant because in real life, many many conflict areas from lack of self-control, the honest communication, and action without careful consideration. So this story not
And now who will tell a folk tale from their birthplace, their parents, or something else? Please tell us in this group. Thank you.
So, I would like to share a very touching and powerful legend from my beautiful land, North Sulawesi, Manado. The story is called Watu Pinawetangan, or the legend of the two giant brothers. I believe most of you know the mountains there, right? But do you know the sad story behind them? Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there were two brothers named Tatangan and Wuwang. They were giants, very strong, and they had a very close bond. They lived together, worked together, and helped the people in their village. Everyone respected them because they were so powerful and kind, and life was perfect and peaceful. But you know what? Sometimes the biggest problem starts from something very small. One day, they had a misunderstanding about a small thing. Maybe it was just a property or a simple decision. One brother
Weasley. They loved each other and always helped.
Hello guys, good morning. And then now, who will tell us about folk tale from their region? Especially for I am so waiting for it.
Hi friend, I am Kamaria and here I want to tell about one of my local folk tales, the Wandui. Once upon a time, Troy lived a family with two children, Waturung Kaleo and her younger brother Lambatata. One day, their father caught a strangled fish, which he then dried and ordered that no one should eat it. However, while his father was away, Lambatata cried, begging for the fish. Out of pity, his mother gave him a piece of the fish. When his father found out, he was furious and served.
That's the pie moving and bittersweet folktale Kamaria. The story of Wanudi carries a strong emotional weight, especially in how it portrays a model love and crime despite hardship and transformation. What stands out most is the mother enduring care for her children. Even after being hurt and causing to live, she never truly abandoned them. She continued to return, notice them, and show her love in the only way she could. Her gradual transformation into Ivy feels symbolic, as if she became part of the sea itself. Yet her identity as mother remained until the very end. The father angers all its powerful lesson. It shows how a controlled emotion can break a family apart and cause. Okay, hi, let me introduce myself. My name is Aprilia. So here I will tell you a story about the whisper of the golden flies. In a coastal village, there lived a simple fishing family. The father was a working fisherman who always broke his stretch with one struck roll. No one was allowed to touch the fish until he gave permission. One day, her child was trying shining fish that looked different from the other. Before leaving to sea again, he gave the same warning as was. However, driven by hunger, the mother eventually gave a small piece of the fish to her child. When the father went on, we have become very hungry. Soon after, the mother left the house in silence, leaving only a trail of cloth leading toward the beach.
Thank you for sharing this story. There's something so quiet about this story, but it echoes loudly after it ends. What stays with me is that no one here is wrong in a simple way. The father isn't cruel, he's a provider who set boundaries out of responsibility, maybe out of fear. The mother isn't rebellious, she's driven by hunger, by a child's cry, by a compassion that overrides rules. And the children? They're just trying to understand a world that changed without their permission. That moment when the mother leaves, not with anger, not with drama, but its silence, leaving an only trail of cloth. It's heartbreaking because it feels so real. Sometimes the people we love don't live with shouting, they live with exhaustion, with the quiet realization that staying will cost more than they can give. And then the ending. She doesn't vanish completely, she becomes a presence in the waves. A whisper at sunset. That's not a fairy tale fix, that's poetry. Because in real life, love doesn't always mean physical presence. Sometimes love becomes memory. Sometimes it becomes the way the wind feels a certain way, or how the ocean sounds like a lullaby you can quiet place. I also can't help but thinking about the pressure on family and coastal communities like the one on the story. When survival is uncertain, rules become stricter, choices become heavier, and small acts like giving a piece of fish can carry enormous weight. This story doesn't judge, it just shows how love, fear, hunger, and hope can collide in one household. One question I'm sitting with: if the father had seen his child's hunger before his own rule, if the mother had found a way to speak her fear instead of living in silence, would the ending have been different? Or was this transformation, the mother becoming a part of the sea, the only way love could survive in this situation? The story doesn't answer, and maybe that's why it feels so real. You let the image of a mother's love giving on with the waves and softly. Hello everyone, for this last sharing, I want to bring a wave tale not exactly from one book, but from the spaces between. Once, in a live video the same event, from the sea, a fisherman broke a taboo and caught a golden fish. The village elder said he must return it, or the sea would take something dear. The fisherman saying his child's hunger and keep it. That night they saw mercy as weakness. The child with two names asked, who was right? The one. Sometimes the curse isn't magic, isn't the weight of a choice that no one else can carry for you. A mother's love can become the ocean. A father's rule can come from fear, and a child with two names can still find voice that holds both. This is Mufli signing off. Keep whispering your stories to the world. Thank you.
This story teaches that life doesn't always have definitive answer. Every choice has a reason and a consequence. We need to learn empathy, be less judgmental, and accept ourselves as we are to find our whole self.